Hello and welcome to today's video on high altitude investing. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a Bitcoin triangle pattern that I see and why it's providing the biggest opportunity to buy Bitcoin in 2020. So it's going to be really awesome. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the stock market today, the bigger picture Elliott wave structure that we're seeing, because I did touch on that just the other day a little bit. And I want to go into more detail about the stock market and how it correlates and affects to Bitcoin. So the triangle pattern and the correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin are going to be the main subjects of today. Make sure that you guys hit that like button for me right now, as well as the subscribe button, because I'm dedicated to keeping you guys posted in the cryptocurrency markets all through 2020, 5 days a week. And also, if you want to comment down below where you are tuning in from in this beautiful world, I would love to hear that. Without further ado, let's get straight into the analysis. This is the Bitcoin chart, and this is on Bitstamp. I have the Elliott waves drawn out here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, an ABC correction. This is when Bitcoin went from about $2 all the way up to $1,300, and then all the way back down to $150. And then we went ahead and saw price proceed from that $150 point up to the $20,000 point. And now we have watched prices fall back down to 3.2. So it's making a triangle pattern right here with an A, B, C, D, E wave. We still have not done the D or the E wave in the triangle pattern. And by the way, shout out to one of my favorite Russian traders. I do not personally know how to pronounce his name. It's like Pentarudi or something like that. But Pentarhudi. So shout out to this guy. He is extremely accurate and one of the few traders on tradingview.com that I really can get behind when it comes to analysis. And he has the same thing drawn out right here. So I wanted to give credit to him because this analysis was at least partially inspired by what he's sharing right here with the ABCDE. I actually was watching this ABCDE pattern before he posted this chart 4 hours ago and made this analysis. So it's not like I took the pattern from him. I was already aware of this. I've even made a few videos about this triangle pattern, but the analysis that I made today was still inspired from seeing this chart, and so that's why I'm shouting him out either way. He's a really awesome trader, so I wanted to give him some credit where it's due. So this is from the B to the C wave. It's actually for us to fail that support level in the bigger picture. For me, actually looks better because one of the things that I did not like about the triangle pattern that I was drawing was actually that this lower upward pointing support was really steep. So let me just take this support line. It was actually really steep before. It was a little bit too steep, and the bottom of the triangle came out to over here, which didn't really make a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot more sense actually now that we have rejected and failed support off of that wave right here, and that we are making that C wave now because that lower support trend line is a lot more symmetrical now, and it's a lot more even on the top and the bottom. It also makes a lot more sense because this right here was still the logarithmic resistance of that downward pointing resistance. And so to have us go one more low right here off of that, in my opinion, looks like better market structure. Yes, that is one scary red candle on the short term, but if you're a big picture trader and you don't let these candles shake you out, which is what I personally do, then it's really not that big of a deal. It's actually landing onto major support, and this looks like a very good shakeout before the halvening event and before we really start to rally here in prices. So what can happen here? There are two technical outcomes that can still occur with Bitcoin if this upward pointing support line fails. So if we do not hold that $5,000 level and that $6,000 level, that upward pointing support will have failed, and that would be pretty bearish. You know, that probably means that we're going back down to 3,000. And then if we touch 3,000 again, I don't expect 3,000 to hold. I would be expecting Bitcoin to go to 1.2 thousand per coin, and it would reach this major horizontal support right here that it hasn't touched yet. And that would be the ultimate doom, ultimate bearish scenario. That only occurs if the stock market and Bitcoin continues to be correlated rather than cross-correlated. So what we have seen with Bitcoin is that over time, Bitcoin has become less correlated to the stock market, meaning that in times of fear, we see people go into Bitcoin. And what we want to see is we want to see that trend continue. If that trend continues, where people go into Bitcoin when there's fear of the stock market, then I expect us to do this bullish breakout and go to 100K. If for some reason Bitcoin follows along with the stock market and people just get more scared of everything in general, doesn't matter what it is, then I would rather see Bitcoin hit this $1.2 thousand level. Personally, I'm actually going to purchase some Bitcoin today straight from my bank account, a few very large purchases, which I really haven't done since I haven't really been interested in buying large amounts since this A wave. So I'm personally seeing this dip as a very large opportunity, and I'm excited to pick up some Bitcoin and see the profits that I do get, or am very likely to get, from this bounce and from all of this panic and this fear. The fear and greed index, you guys, is actually at its maximum right now. So everybody is in pure fear. We also, like I have pointed out, we have a very large bullish triangle. We have an oversold RSI, and this just seems to me like a very large shakeout before the halving event, before we continue in our major uptrend for Bitcoin. So I'm personally extremely bullish on Bitcoin with this Bitcoin triangle pattern, and I think that 100,000 per coin will likely be the result out of a bullish breakout once we get this D and this E wave. And the prices for those price points would be the C wave should end around 5,000 per coin. The D wave should end around 9,000 per coin. And the E wave should end around 6,000 again, which would be very awesome for this huge 6K support floor to act as major support between the C and the E wave. So I really, really like this structure, you guys. I personally have no reason to be overly bearish. It's so easy to get caught up in a candle like this and just think in terms of fear, to panic and be like, oh, well, crypto's dead, Bitcoin's dead. And to forget to zoom out, to forget to check your alternative counts, to forget to check your primary counts, and stay logical for what the market can do and what you should do based on what the market decides to do. You can't always perfectly predict exactly what it's going to do, but you can always have a strategy and plan around both directions so that you stay profitable in the markets. For me, my plan is to buy this fear. It's a really, really good risk to reward ratio. This upward pointing trend line, we're very close to it. You can buy that trend line. If it does fail, you can get out with a very, very tight stop loss because that trend line is so close to us right now. And then you can go ahead and hedge and short the market down to 1.2 thousand and make money off of all of that fear. Whereas if we head for that D and that E wave, you'll have a very strong confirmation at the breakout of this downward pointing resistance to make a lot of money going long. So you guys can stay profitable in this market any direction that it goes, as long as you guys are following me. So, make sure that you guys are following me and subscribe to this channel so you guys know what to do in both scenarios to stay profitable, whether we go to 100,000 per coin like I expect and is my primary prediction, my highest probability prediction, or whether we go for a secondary prediction, which will become primary if this or if this upward pointing support trend line fails. Okay, so let's look at the stock market. This is the S&P 500 from 1872 until now. So this is a lot of data, you guys. And we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. and then an ABC correction, and that was the Great Depression from the 1 and the 2 wave, and that was an 80% correction. We have not seen an 80% correction since the Great Depression. We then saw a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, very, very bullish, very, very strong bull market, all the way up until 2003 when we really started to get that internet bubble crash, and then the housing market crash in 2008. And then we recovered and saw a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, and I expect that to be the 5th wave in the market, or it could be the 5th wave in the market here. And we have a lot of bearish divergence to confirm that between the 3 wave and the 5 wave. And so it really would not surprise me at all if the stock market has another either internet bubble sized crash like the 2003 or 2008 crash, and it even is possible for us to go into a super cycle ABC, which would be an 80% correction similar to the Great Depression. If that happens, we could see the stock market fail even the support of 2008 and 2003 and head towards $400 per S&P, which would provide the biggest buying opportunity of your entire lifetime, but that would not be for another 10 to 20 years before it could actually pick that up. So, that's a very, very bearish scenario in the stock market. If this happens, the money has to go somewhere. I think it will go into oil, Bitcoin, silver, and probably gold. And those would be the places I expect money to move in some type of a correction. Like I said, Bitcoin would be a good safe haven for that. If this isn't the case, then this would be just the first wave in the 5th wave. And this would just be like this. Basically, we would be a 1, 2. We'd land onto the 618, do a correction just like 2008 and 2003. We wouldn't go into a Great Depression sized correction. It wouldn't be an 80% drop or anything like that. And we would see continuation after a 40 or 50% drop onto major support. And that's very possible, you guys. This is very possible. This is my alternative count currently. But if we fall onto support in the 2 wave right here and it acts strongly as support, I will be buying that dip. And if it holds even stronger as support, you'll see us as we get towards the resistance and we move towards that resistance. It would then provide us with even more confidence that this is the primary count and we need to even head higher in the S&P 500. But either way, you guys, those are the 2 primary counts. And if this does happen, we're even going to just basically prolong another Great Depression, because that will just mean that the 5th wave is further out, closer to 2050, before we actually go in for another Great Depression event. Either way, it's very likely we have a Great Depression at some point. It just depends on how big this 5th wave really is going to be. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to today's video. Stay profitable with the Bitcoin markets. I know that there's fear right now, but for me, I'm looking at this as opportunity. I'm personally going to buy some. If we have a change in trading plan, I will let you guys know. I will keep you guys posted on what the smartest moves are in the market. But really right now, you guys, there's only 2 wave counts I can see with the S&P, and there's only 2 that I can really see with Bitcoin. My primary for Bitcoin is 100K, and my primary for the S&P is that we go into a bear market. But this would be my secondary if the 2008 support can kind of hold that used to be resistance. So this right here, that resistance that was formed, and then we had the 2008 crash. If that can become support, then this will become my primary count, and we will continue in the S&P 500. Either way, you guys, this is a huge dip buying scenario. If it does a big correction, you get a bigger dip and a cheaper price. If it does a small correction, you get to buy a very nice dip before we finish our 5th wave. Again, thank you guys for tuning in today's episode. I will keep you guys updated and posted in tomorrow's video. Thank you guys. Hit that like button, the subscribe button, and as always, stay profitable out there.